We just finished the 2015 Hardtail of the Year test. And the winning bike in the 500-pound category is the Trek Marlin 7, which is the bike I'm riding right now. So what really made the Trek Marlin 7 stand out is its superior ride quality. The aluminium frame's got a real good feel to it, the fork works good, and the riding position's absolutely spot on. The frame proportions are also really good on the Trek. I'm 5'11", and I'm riding a 19.5-inch bike that fits like a glove. The Suntour fork in the Trek doesn't come with a lockout. But don't take that as a negative, because the fork doesn't actually move that much when you're climbing anyway. Best of all, by not having a lockout, it doesn't impact the sensitivity of the fork, so it's really, really supple on small bumps, which is exactly what it's for. So that's a brief overview of why the Trek Marlin 7 won the 500-pound category. Now let's take a closer look at some of the details on the bike. Let's start with the only thing that I don't like about this bike, and that's the grips. With the flaps on the end for wrist support, you just lock your hands into like a single position. First thing I do, slice them off, spend an extra 10 pounds, slide on some lock-ons. With that out of the way, let's get to what makes it so great. On the climb up, I talked about the sizing. And while the 19.5-inch fits me perfectly, I appreciate that everybody's not 5'11". Trek do too. Frames available in 7 different frame sizes. The smallest 2 sizes actually run on 27.5-inch wheels, not 29er wheels like this one. And that just means the frame can be more compact and better fitted to smaller riders. So 29er wheels offer better rollover, but there are a couple of drawbacks. The main one is that because you have to make the wheel bigger, the tire bigger, the inner tube bigger, the frame has to get bigger, the weight goes up. So that means the Trek isn't the lightest bike in the 500-pound category. But that really isn't a problem, because the 29er wheels make climbing easier, they make rolling over bumps easier, and when you've got no suspension on the rear, it's actually a real bonus. So even though it's not the lightest bike, it's one of the best climbers in this category. So even though Trek's got a stiff, lightweight, oversized actually, aluminium frame, it runs a pretty skinny 27.2 seat post. And the reason for that is you get a little bit of flex in it. And that just allows your bum not to get such a pounding when you're riding across chop or roots or rough, rocky trails. So let's take a closer look at the fork. It's a Suntour XCT. It's got 100 mil of travel. Now, while that doesn't sound like a lot, it's more than enough on a 500-pound hardtail. It's pretty sensitive, so it takes the edge of the bumps and stops your hands going numb. And it can handle the bigger hits, but you definitely notice that it's not the same level as you get on a 750-pound bike or a 1,000-pound bike, so it gets a little bit more rowdy and a little bit out of control, but it does a pretty good job. Trek's really done a good job with the frame. In fact, that's where the money is on this bike. But the contact points are also good. The saddle's comfortable, the bar width's nice, the fork might not be the highest spec, but it does what it's supposed to do. The tires are really good, the wheels roll fast, and it's just a great little bike. I got on it, I could go flat out straight away. I didn't feel inhibited by the layout or the geometry or any of the components. Just out of the box, you can absolutely shred it. And best of all, if you don't like this kind of dull gray color, it's also available in bright red. In terms of specification, there's nothing that's really stand out on the Trek, but then there's nothing wrong with it either. And when you get out on the trails, what you realize is that it doesn't really matter whether you've got 9 gears or 10 gears at the back, or whether it's Altus or Olivio, it's how the bike rides. And that's where the Trek really shone through. It just had a ride quality that was so much better than any of the other bikes in the 500-pound category. It felt composed, it felt capable, and most of all, it was a lot of fun to ride.